key that unlocked the collars currently around my friends' necks. Call me vindictive, but I was really hoping to see that bitch, Mrs. Emery, joining the ranks of the dead, and so far, I hadn't got my wish. Could she have lived through the collapse of that enormous house, or the firestorm that Jake had unleashed on her? Apparently, the answer was yes, at least so far. Hades said a few of the shadow shapers had arrived not long after us that first night, but none since then. Bruno had run as soon as Cerberus appeared, so he'd probably lived to tell the tale. But Adrian should have been well and truly smushed under the collapsing mansion, as should Mrs. Emery and the so delightful Irene. Well, speak of the devil. I jumped up as a familiar figure stepped off the ferry. Finally. Irene wore a smart suit and high heels, but the confidence had gone out of her stride. She shuffled along in the line, as gray as the rest of the dead. She smoothed her hair back in a gesture I recognized. Irene had never met anyone she loved more than herself, and it showed even in death. I strode down to the water's edge to meet her. "Irene," I said. "Nice to see you again." A flicker of recognition appeared in her eyes, but she said nothing. Just stood waiting, staring at the gray rocks as if she didn't care who I was or what I had to say, as if nothing mattered, which I guess to her it didn't. None of the other shades paid us the slightest attention, intent on their slow march into the afterlife. I didn't know how Hades could stand hanging out with this bunch. Their silence was starting to unnerve me. Maybe that was why he spent so much time topside pretending to be a vampire named Alberto. "So, how's your boss? Still fighting fit? Or did we manage to crush her like the bug that she is?" Actually, that was an insult to bugs. "What did your friends do with the key to the collars?" She raised her head, her eyes glittering with malice. "Why should I tell you?" I shrugged and pulled out a knife, testing the blade against my finger. She laughed, sounding like the soundtrack to every scary movie I'd ever seen. The hairs on the back of my neck rose instinctively. Damn dead people were creepy-ass bastards. "Your knife is no threat. What are you going to do, kill me again?" Ah, if only, Irene. Some people really deserved killing twice. I feinted at her with the knife and she leapt back, though the blade went straight through her raised hand. "Nah, I just wanted to see you jump." I laughed at the vicious frustration on her face, one of those I'd strangle you with my bare hands if only I had hands kind of looks. But, I'm kind of tight with the boss of this place. If you don't tell me what I want to know, I'll just drop a word in his ear. He can make your life hell. Literally. Rage flashed across her face and she lunged at me, hands outstretched to claw my face. I danced away, but not before her spectral fingers passed right through my head, sending an icy tremor through my skull. Cerberus appeared at my side, snarling, and she hurriedly stepped back into line. She glared at both of us for a moment, but her expression soon collapsed into the same apathy shown on every other gray face that passed us as the line moved inexorably onward. "It doesn't matter anyway. Mrs. Emery will defeat you in the end." So she's going to live? Damn, that was disappointing, even if it wasn't entirely unexpected by this stage. Poor Irene must have lingered in hospital for a few days. It was too much to hope that Mrs. Emery was in the same sad situation. She was like a cockroach, that one. Hard to kill and liable to scuttle back into the light when you least expected it. Irene moved on, following the graybacks in front of her, and I let her go. If she knew anything useful, Hades would get it out of her. She wouldn't be able to refuse the Lord of the Underworld. "You won't get what you want by interrogating the dead," a voice said behind me, and I jumped. She lounged half on the riverbank, half in the black water, and her hair was so long and black its wet strands looked like the river itself flowing from her head. Her skin was pale, but not the gray of the dead surrounding us. More like someone who didn't spend any time soaking up the vitamin D. "Won't I?" I didn't appreciate being sneaked up on like that. My heart was still pounding. "How do you know?" "Let's just say I've been around this place a while." She laughed, exposing a mouthful of pointed teeth like a shark's. "I have some experience with dead people." "Who are you?" I didn't like the look of those teeth, but it was kind of hard not to stare. She looked like an emo cannibal.